Very ping, swipe, and scroll is silently training your brain, not to focus, but to crave. You weren't born distracted, you were conditioned. But what if you could reverse that? What if you could retrain your brain for deep focus, powerful clarity, and meaningful work? Dopamine Detox. Train your brain for deep work is your blueprint to breaking the cycle. If you're tired of chasing dopamine and ready to build a life of real momentum, your journey starts now. Introduction. Why you can't focus anymore. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat down to do something important, maybe write, study, plan your future, or even just think, and your mind didn't try to escape? No notifications. No sudden urge to check Instagram. No quick YouTube video. No pull toward your phone just to see what's up. Just you and the task. Hard to remember, isn't it? You're not alone. In fact, you're part of a global epidemic, the attention crisis. In today's world, your ability to focus is under attack, constantly, silently, and profitably. We live in an economy that thrives on distraction. Your attention has become a product sold to the highest bidder. And the scary part, you might be giving it away without even realizing it. But there's hope. And it starts with understanding the one chemical that's silently pulling the strings behind your behavior, dopamine. The dopamine dilemma. Dopamine. You've heard the word before. People casually throw it around like, "That gave me a dopamine hit," or "I'm addicted to dopamine." But what does that really mean? Dopamine is not pleasure itself. It's the anticipation of pleasure. It's the chemical your brain releases when it thinks you're about to get something rewarding. A like on your photo, a swipe right, a notification buzz, a new message, a new video. Dopamine drives your motivation. It pushes you to take action. In fact, studies show that animals with blocked dopamine receptors don't even get up to eat. They die from starvation, with food sitting right next to them. That's how powerful this chemical is. But here's the twist. We're not supposed to be bombarded with high levels of dopamine all day, every day. Our brains evolved in environments of scarcity, not abundance. We were wired to feel satisfaction from meaningful effort, like hunting for food, solving a problem, or connecting deeply with others. Now, we can swipe, scroll, click, or tap, and our brain thinks we've accomplished something, but we haven't. Instead of earning our dopamine through real effort, we're tricking our brains with cheap hits from screens, snacks, and shortcuts, and it's making us miserable. The hijacking of your mind. Social media isn't free. You're paying with your attention and your time, your energy, your peace of mind. Apps are not built for your benefit. They're built to keep you hooked. Every notification is a digital slot machine. Every swipe, a gamble. Will you get something exciting, something funny, something new? This uncertainty is what makes it addictive. Think about it. You pick up your phone to check one thing. Maybe you want to reply to a message. But 30 minutes later, you've watched 8 videos, read 3 articles, liked a few posts, and, wait, what were you supposed to be doing again? That's the trap. This constant interruption kills your ability to do deep work, the kind of work that actually changes your life. The kind of focus that allows you to create, to grow, to think deeply, to solve problems, to learn skills, and to move forward in life. Instead, most people are stuck in shallow loops, distracted, scattered, consuming, instead of creating, and worst of all, they feel it. That nagging guilt, the foggy brain, the lack of motivation, the "I know I should be doing something better with my time, but I can't stop scrolling." Sound familiar? The scrolling trap. A relatable story. Let me tell you a story. It's 10 p.m. You say you're going to bed. You grab your phone. Just 5 minutes, you tell yourself. You open YouTube. One video leads to another. You laugh, you scroll, you click. Then you remember a random question and Google it. That leads to a Reddit thread, then to a tweet. then a meme, then a reel, then you remember you haven't checked your messages. Or your email. You glance at the time. It's 1:23 a.m. You feel drained. You've done nothing. You've learned nothing. You've created nothing. But your brain is buzzing. You're overstimulated and exhausted at the same time. You close your eyes wondering, why can't I just stop? That's not laziness. That's dopamine. Deep work. The 21st century superpower now. Imagine a different kind of night. You sit down to write your goals. No distractions, just focus. You spend an hour reading a book that challenges your thinking. You journal, you think, you plan, you build, you create. And when you go to bed, your mind is calm, clear, fulfilled. That's the power of deep work. Deep work is when you give your full, undivided attention to a cognitively demanding task. No multitasking, no background noise, no dopamine hits, just flow. And in today's noisy, distracted world, deep work is a superpower. People who master it will rise above the noise. They'll learn faster, solve deeper problems, make better decisions, build powerful careers, lead more intentional lives. They'll thrive in a world of chaos because they've trained their brains to stay focused, and you can be one of them. The promise of this book is not about quitting technology or living like a monk. It's about reclaiming your brain, one habit at a time. Over the next 10 chapters, you'll discover how dopamine works and how to break free from its traps, why you're addicted to distractions and how to detox from them, how to build deep work rituals that rewire your brain for focus, how to make boredom your secret weapon, how to reclaim your time, energy, and attention, how to live a more meaningful, productive, and powerful life. This is not a quick fix. This is a system, a philosophy, a mindset shift. By the end of this journey, you'll have the tools to focus like a laser, break bad habits and build good ones, rewire your brain for clarity and calm, unlock your creative and intellectual potential, and finally, live the life you were meant to live, not the one your phone tricks you into living. Let's begin the journey. You didn't pick this audiobook by accident. Something inside you is ready to change. You're tired of the noise. You're tired of being tired. And you're ready to take your mind back. Good. Because this is the beginning of a new way of living. Welcome to Dopamine Detox. Train your brain for deep work. Let's start cleaning the fog and light the fire. Chapter 1. The Dopamine Problem. Let's begin with a hard truth. Your brain isn't broken. It's overwhelmed. In this chapter, we're going to unravel the mystery behind dopamine, the brain chemical that once helped humans survive, and now keeps us stuck scrolling, binging, snacking, gaming, and procrastinating. You'll discover how dopamine loops hijack your motivation, how we confuse pleasure with happiness, and why we've become addicted to the pursuit of novelty. Let's dive into the problem, because understanding it is the first step toward breaking free. What dopamine does in the brain, to understand why you can't stop checking your phone or why you feel empty after hours of Netflix, we need to talk about dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger that plays a huge role in how you feel, behave, and even who you become. It's often described as the feel-good chemical, but that's not exactly accurate. Dopamine doesn't create pleasure. It creates wanting. It's the chemical of anticipation, not satisfaction. It's what drives you to take action, to seek out rewards, to chase goals. Imagine you're hungry. You smell your favorite food cooking. That craving you feel? That's dopamine. It's pushing you to act. Go get that food now. But once you eat it and feel satisfied, that's not dopamine. That's serotonin and other chemicals taking over. In essence, dopamine is the motivator, the spark, the go-get-it fuel in your brain. And while that's incredibly useful in the right context, like working toward a goal or building a skill, in the wrong context, it's a trap. Understanding dopamine loops and instant gratification. Here's where it gets tricky. Your brain loves rewards, especially fast ones. The quicker the reward follows the action, the stronger the habit becomes. Open Instagram, get likes. Open TikTok, watch a funny video. Open YouTube, get a recommended hit of entertainment. Open a food app, get that junk food delivered. Open Netflix, binge for hours. Every one of those actions delivers a hit of dopamine, and every time you repeat the cycle, the brain wires itself more tightly to expect that reward. This is called a dopamine loop, a cycle of craving, action, reward, then craving again. It's the same loop that fuels drug addiction, gambling, even compulsive shopping. But now, it's happening to all of us on a daily basis, through screens, snacks, and social media. Here's the real danger. Over time, these loops train your brain to avoid effort. Why wait days, weeks, or months for a reward when you can get a dopamine spike in seconds? Your brain adapts. It stops finding satisfaction in slow, meaningful pursuits. And instead, it starts craving faster, easier hits. That's how instant gratification destroys your attention span and your life. Pleasure versus happiness. Let's pause for a moment. What do you really want out of life? Think about it. Most people say things like, I want to be happy. I want peace of mind. I want purpose. I want to feel fulfilled. But here's the paradox. The more we chase pleasure, the further we drift from happiness. Pleasure is short-term. It's dopamine-driven. It's watching 5 episodes in a row. It's eating that sugary snack. It's scrolling for 30 minutes just to relax. It feels good in the moment, but leaves you empty later. Happiness, on the other hand, is long-term. It's serotonin-driven. It's built on meaning, growth, relationships, and progress. It comes from doing hard things, creating value, building yourself. You don't feel happy during a workout. You feel happy after. You don't feel joy while writing that report. But when you finish, you're proud. You don't love studying in the moment. But acing the test? That feels amazing. Here's the truth. Pleasure is easy. Happiness is earned. But dopamine doesn't care about happiness. It just wants the next hit. That's why so many people feel miserable even though they have constant access to pleasure. They're drowning in dopamine and starving for meaning. The usual suspects. How you're being hacked. Let's get real about the enemies of focus. You know them well. Social media. Every time you post a photo or check your likes, your brain gets a tiny reward. But here's the trick. It's intermittent. Sometimes you get a lot of likes. Sometimes you don't. This unpredictability keeps you coming back, like a gambler pulling a slot machine lever. Junk food, highly processed foods are engineered to give your brain massive dopamine spikes. Sweet, salty, fatty, crunchy. It's like a party in your mouth. But the crash comes soon after, and you crave more. Over time, your baseline drops. You need more junk to feel the same pleasure. Video games offer progress, achievement, and challenge, all things we should get from real life. But when all that reward is virtual, you stop chasing real-world goals. Your brain gets the dopamine without any real-life payoff. Netflix and binge culture autoplay. Instant access, endless options, TV used to require patience. Now, it rewards passivity. You don't even have to click anymore. The next episode starts automatically. Before you know it, it's 2 a.m., and you're still watching. These aren't evil. They're tools. But when used without awareness, they become traps. They give you a high and leave you empty. The trap of seeking novelty. Let's talk about novelty. Your brain loves new images, new sounds, new ideas, new videos, new updates. It's wired that way. In the wild, new things could mean danger or opportunity. So your brain learned to pay attention. Now every time you scroll and see something fresh, you get a hit, and then another, and another. The novelty never ends. But here's the problem. Too much novelty burns out your dopamine system. It's like turning the volume up to 100 then getting used to the noise. Over time, you become numb. You can't focus on anything boring, even if it's important. You can't enjoy simple things, like a quiet walk or a good book. You can't sit still without reaching for your phone. You're chasing stimulation like a drug, and the more you get, the less it satisfies. This is the dopamine paradox. The more pleasure you chase, the harder it is to feel pleasure. Why more dopamine? Less satisfaction. Imagine your brain like a speaker. At first, a little volume sounds great. Then you crank it up. Then more. Then more. Eventually, you hit max volume. But now, even that feels normal. That's what happens when you flood your brain with constant dopamine. Your baseline shifts. What used to feel exciting becomes boring. And what used to feel boring, like sitting quietly, reading, working, is now unbearable. Here's the scary part. Even when you're not scrolling or snacking or watching, your brain still wants that stimulation. It's restless, agitated, desperate for another hit. So you pick up your phone again, even if you don't want to, and the cycle continues. But it doesn't have to. You can reset your brain. You can lower the volume. You can reclaim your sensitivity to real joy, deep focus, and lasting satisfaction. It starts with a detox. The awakening. You didn't ruin your brain. It's just been hijacked. Hijacked by algorithms, by artificial rewards, by clever marketing, by an endless loop of low-effort, high dopamine distractions. But here's the good news. Your brain is plastic. That means it can change. It can rewire. You can rebuild your ability to focus, to enjoy simple things, to work deeply, to feel fully alive again. That's what this journey is all about. In the next chapter, we'll look deeper at how your environment is designed to addict you and how to fight back. You'll see how companies weaponize your dopamine for profit, and most importantly, how to unplug from their control. This isn't just a detox, it's a revolution. You're taking your mind back. Let's go deeper. Chapter 2, Addiction by Design. Imagine this. You're sitting at your desk, trying to work. You open your laptop, ready to get serious. But before you even realize what's happening, you've picked up your phone. You scroll through Instagram. Tap a few stories. Check your notifications. Then a YouTube video catches your eye. 10 minutes. Then 20. Then an hour. You close the app. You sigh. You're back where you started. You didn't plan this. You were pulled into it. Why? Because it was designed that way. In this chapter, we're going to talk about something uncomfortable, but crucial. You're not just distracted. You're being manipulated. There are entire industries investing billions of dollars to keep you hooked, scrolling, watching, and consuming. Let's pull back the curtain. Addiction isn't an accident. It's engineered. Addiction doesn't just happen. It's manufactured. When you hear the word addiction, you might think of drugs or alcohol. But addiction simply means compulsive engagement in a behavior despite negative consequences. And in the digital age, addiction is the business model. Tech companies, food companies, entertainment platforms, they've all learned how to exploit your brain's most vulnerable wiring. And the kingpin of that wiring? Dopamine. Every app, every notification, every like, buzz, beep, and badge, each is engineered to trigger a dopamine response. And they know it. They depend on it. Because the longer you stay, the more money they make. Let's look at how they do it. Habit loops. The psychology behind the hook behavioral psychologists talk about habit loops, simple cycles that drive repeated behavior. They work like this. Cue, craving, response, reward. You get a notification, cue. You feel curious or anxious, craving. You open the app, response. You see a message or a like, reward. Your brain says, that felt good, let's do it again. These loops get stronger every time they're repeated, and companies deliberately design their products to feed these loops. Let's break that down with a few real-world examples. Tech and the slot machine effect. You ever notice how pulling to refresh on your phone feels kind of like pulling a lever on a slot machine? That's not an accident. It's intentional. This is called variable rewards, a psychological tactic that dates back to the early days of gambling studies. The idea is simple. If you sometimes get a big reward and sometimes get nothing, your brain becomes addicted to the unpredictability. Think about it. Sometimes you open Instagram and see 10 new likes. Other times, nothing. Sometimes, an exciting message. Other times, silence. This randomness keeps your dopamine system on edge. Your brain wants to check again and again because maybe something exciting is waiting. This exact strategy is used in casinos to keep players glued to slot machines for hours. Today, it's in your pocket 24/7. Food designed to hijack your brain. Think about the last time you ate a bag of chips. You probably didn't stop at a few. You ate half the bag, maybe more. Why? Because ultra-processed foods are designed for maximum hyperpalatability. That means they combine fat, salt, and sugar in precise ratios that light up your brain's reward centers like a Christmas tree. That's dopamine at work. These foods override your natural hunger and satiety signals. You're not eating because you're hungry. You're eating because your brain is high on stimulation. And the kicker? Just like digital hits, the more you consume, the more you need to feel satisfied. Media and the never-ending stream ever. Try to watch just one YouTube video, one Netflix episode, good luck. Autoplay, personalized recommendations, infinite scroll. These aren't just features. They're hooks, designed to lower friction, eliminate pause, and keep you moving from one dopamine hit to the next. YouTube wants you watching. Netflix wants you binging. TikTok wants you hypnotized because your attention is their currency. The longer you watch, the more ads they can show, the more data they collect, the more behavior they can predict, the more money they make. Your attention is their business, and business is booming. Emotional manipulation and dopamine spikes. Here's something even deeper. These platforms don't just keep you stimulated, they keep you emotional. Why? Because heightened emotions boost engagement. Anger, outrage, jealousy, envy, FOMO. These are emotional triggers that spike dopamine. You've seen it, outrageous news headlines, perfectly curated Instagram lives, political rants, drama-filled TikToks, clickbait videos. These aren't neutral. They're designed to provoke a reaction. And every emotional spike leads to, yep, more scrolling. This isn't entertainment. It's emotional engineering, and your dopamine system is caught in the middle of the war. Case study, the Facebook like button. Let's talk about a small feature that changed the world, the like button. When Facebook first introduced it, it seemed harmless, a way to show appreciation, a small gesture. But it became something else, a dopamine slot machine. Every time you post, you're gambling. Will people like it? How many? How fast? Did they comment? Each response triggers a dopamine hit. And when responses are slow or absent, you feel anxious, rejected, low. Former Facebook engineers have since admitted this was deliberate. They knew it would create psychological dependency. One engineer even compared it to giving kids a digital dose of dopamine every few minutes, and it worked. We're still hooked. Case study. YouTube's recommendation. Algorithm, another example. YouTube. Their algorithm doesn't just suggest videos you might like. It's optimized to keep you watching as long as possible. That means emotional. Content high arousal. Controversial topics. Quick dopamine hits. Escalating novelty. You start watching a calm productivity video. 4 clicks later, you're in a conspiracy rabbit hole. Why? Because that's what keeps people watching. Former employees from YouTube and Google have warned us about this. They say, we knew what we were doing. We just didn't know how powerful it would be. Red flags. How to know you've been hooked. Ask yourself these questions. Do you reach for your phone without thinking? Do you open apps out of habit, not intention? Do you feel anxious when you're offline? Do you struggle to enjoy quiet or boredom? Do you constantly check for updates, even when nothing has changed? If you said yes to any of those, you're not weak, you're not broken. You're normal in a system designed to exploit your brain, and now that you know the system, you can break free. The truth hurts, but it also frees. Here's the truth. No tech company wants you to know. You are not the customer. You are the product. Your attention is being packaged, sold, and resold to advertisers. Your habits are being shaped to serve algorithms, not your life goals. Your time, energy, and focus are being siphoned, bit by bit, swipe by swipe. But knowledge is power. When you understand how you've been conditioned, you can start deconditioning. When you see the chains, you can start breaking them. Your brain, your rules. You don't have to live like this. You can uninstall, you can unfollow, you can unsubscribe, you can unplug, you can create more than you consume. You can use tech as a tool, not a trap, and it all starts with awareness. In the next chapter, we'll start building the foundation for your dopamine detox, a practical system to reset your brain, restore your focus, and rewire your habits. This is more than self-help. This is survival in a world that profits from your distraction. Let's take back control. Let's detox. Chapter 3. The Science of Deep Work. If you've ever sat down and worked on something so intensely that the world around you seemed to disappear, if you've ever been so immersed in a task that time flew by, if you've ever felt the rush of completing something real, something that mattered, then you've experienced deep work, and chances are you haven't felt it in a long time. In this chapter, we're going to explore what deep work is, how it's different from shallow work, why it's disappearing from modern life, and why it's your biggest competitive edge in a distracted world. You'll also understand the neuroscience behind flow states, the real cost of multitasking, and why some of the world's most successful people guard their focus like gold. Let's dive in. What is deep work? Let's define it clearly. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It's where your best thinking happens. It's where you solve problems, generate ideas, write code, design systems, and build your future. In contrast, shallow work is non-cognitive, logistical, often repetitive. It's checking emails, attending Zoom meetings, skimming articles, answering messages, multitasking between tabs, low-impact tasks that feel like work, but don't move the needle. Here's the key difference. Deep work creates value. Shallow work maintains appearances. One builds empires, the other checks boxes. Why deep work is disappearing, the truth. Deep work is becoming rare, and not because we're lazy, but because the world is designed to interrupt us. In today's environment, your phone buzzes constantly. Social media tempts you 24/7. Your inbox fills up faster than you can empty it. Open office plans kill concentration. You're expected to be always on. We've become addicted to reaction, responding to pings, liking, replying, refreshing, clicking. But all of that comes at a cost. Your ability to go deep. In fact, many people have never truly experienced deep work because they've never spent 90 minutes doing one thing, with zero distractions, total intention, and full presence. And yet, that's where all meaningful achievement comes from. The neuroscience behind focus and flow. So what's happening in your brain when you enter deep work? It starts with a shift in attention. When you block distractions and concentrate deeply, your brain moves into a state called flow. Flow is a term coined by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. It's that magical zone where you lose track of time. You're fully immersed. You're performing at your highest level. You're neither bored nor overwhelmed, but perfectly challenged in flow. Your brain releases powerful neurochemicals, dopamine for motivation and focus, norepinephrine for alertness and energy, endorphins for pleasure, anandamide for pattern recognition and lateral thinking, serotonin for contentment. This cocktail enhances your performance and makes the process enjoyable. You're not forcing productivity, you're flowing with it. But here's the catch. It takes 15 to 30 minutes of uninterrupted focus just to enter a flow state. Every ping, buzz, or glance at your phone resets that timer. That's why multitasking kills deep work. Multitasking, the productivity. Myth, you've heard it before. I'm great at multitasking. Let's bust that myth right now. Your brain can't focus on two cognitively demanding tasks at once. What it can do is switch between tasks quickly. But every switch comes with a cost, called attention residue. Let's say you're writing a report, then check your phone for a quick message. Even if you look for just 10 seconds, part of your brain stays focused on that message, even after you've gone back to the report. That residue piles up. Your focus gets diluted, your performance drops, your stress increases, and your deep work, dead. Multitasking isn't efficient. It's self-sabotage in disguise. Why deep work is a superpower. Let's zoom out. In a world of automation, AI, outsourcing, and distraction, there's one thing machines can't do. Concentrated, creative, human-level thinking. Deep work is how books are written, businesses are built, problems are solved, ideas are born, empires are created, and because deep work is so rare, it's more valuable than ever. Cal Newport, the computer science professor who popularized the term deep work, puts it this way. The ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare at exactly the same time it is becoming increasingly valuable. That means one thing. If you can focus deeply, you win. You'll outlearn your peers, outproduce your competitors, outcreate your distractions. You'll be the one who finishes the book, starts the business, designs the solution, ships the product. In the economy of attention, deep focus is your ultimate currency. Famous deep workers, what success really looks like. Let's take a look at people who have mastered deep work. Cal Newport, he writes academic papers, teaches computer science at Georgetown, and publishes best-selling books. How? By guarding his time ruthlessly. No social media. Scheduled deep work blocks. Laser focus. Elon Musk breaks his days into 5-minute time blocks. He's known for working in long, focused sprints, building rockets, designing cars, managing multiple companies. This isn't luck. It's systems, structure, and deep work in action. Famous writers J.K. Rowling wrote parts of Harry Potter in cafes, isolated from distraction. Stephen King writes every day, no matter what. They don't wait for inspiration. They sit down and do the work, deeply. Top athletes Kobe Bryant, Serena Williams, Novak Djokovic, they train with monk-like intensity. It's not just physical. It's mental. They enter flow during practice, pushing through boredom, discomfort, and repetition to achieve mastery. The benefits of deep work. Let's break down exactly what deep work gives you. Creativity. When your mind isn't jumping between tabs, it can connect dots. That's how innovation happens. Space for thought. Room for insight. Faster learning, focused attention accelerates skill building. Whether it's coding, writing, music, or languages, deep work rewires your brain faster and more effectively. Fulfillment. There's nothing like the satisfaction of doing meaningful work. When you finish a deep work session, you feel energized, not drained. Productivity. 1 hour of deep work can equal 5 hours of shallow work. You do less, but you achieve more. That's true efficiency. Confidence. When you see what you're capable of during deep focus, your self-trust grows. You know you can handle challenges, stay disciplined, and create things that matter. Deep work is a discipline, not a mood now. Here's something important to understand. Deep work is not something you feel like doing. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's not about mood or motivation. It's a discipline. You train for it. You build your environment around it. You protect it like a sacred ritual. You remove distractions. You time block it. You treat it like a workout, because that's what it is. A mental workout, and every session makes you stronger. Your turning point, if you've made it this far, you already know. You're not here to be average. You're not here to spend your life in digital quicksand, scrolling, clicking, watching, forgetting. You're here to build something real. Whether it's a business, a book, a better version of yourself, it will require focus. And that focus starts with deep work. So here's your next mission. Start small. Block 30 minutes. A day. No phone, no tabs. Just one task, one goal. Total presence. You'll be amazed at what happens. In the next chapter, we'll begin your dopamine detox protocol, a step-by-step method to reset your brain, reclaim your focus, and build a deep work routine that sticks. This is where everything starts to change. Let's build the system. Let's detox. Let's go deep. Chapter 4. Detoxing the brain. You've heard the phrase, dopamine detox. Maybe you've seen videos of people sitting in silence, staring at walls, refusing to talk, eat, or even move. It might sound extreme, or even a little ridiculous. Let's set the record straight. A dopamine detox doesn't mean eliminating dopamine. You can't, and you shouldn't. Dopamine is essential for your survival. It helps you move, learn, stay motivated, and experience joy. So what does it mean to detox? Your brain. It means this. You are temporarily removing high dopamine, low-value activities that hijack your focus and reward system, so you can reset your brain, rebuild your discipline, and train yourself to enjoy deep, meaningful work again. This is not about punishment. It's about recalibration. In this chapter, we're going to bust the myths of dopamine detoxing, explain how it actually works, walk through your first 24-hour dopamine detox challenge, help you prepare your mind and environment, and guide you through the mental discomfort that might come up. This is where the real change begins. Let's detox. Myths versus facts about dopamine. Detoxing. Let's clear up a few common misconceptions. Myth number 1. Dopamine is bad. Truth. Dopamine is not the enemy. It's a natural neurotransmitter that helps you feel motivation, pleasure, and focus. The problem isn't dopamine itself. It's the unnatural levels we're chasing through constant stimulation. Myth number 2. I have to quit everything enjoyable forever. Truth. A dopamine detox isn't permanent. It's a temporary fast, like a mental reset. The goal isn't to eliminate joy, it's to retrain your brain to find joy in meaningful things, not cheap digital thrills. Myth number 3. I have to sit in silence doing nothing. Truth. You're not doing nothing. You're replacing high dopamine distractions with low dopamine, high-value activities like walking, reading, journaling, meditating, creating, thinking, reflecting. This isn't boredom. This is reconnection. What a dopamine detox, really, means at its core. A dopamine detox is about breaking the loop. Remember those dopamine loops we talked about? Cue, craving, response, reward. A detox cuts the loop. It gives your brain space to breathe. It lowers your baseline stimulation so that normal, healthy activities start to feel satisfying again. Think of your dopamine system like a volume knob. Right now, it's cranked up to 10 from constant scrolling, binging, multitasking. Everything else feels boring by comparison. Detoxing turns the volume down. It resets your sensitivity. It makes deep work, conversation, learning, nature, even just sitting still, feel good again. That's the goal. Step by step, how to start a dopamine detox. Let's break it down into manageable steps. Step 1. Identify your triggers. What are the top 3 to 5 activities you use for instant gratification? Think social. Media, video games, junk food, YouTube rabbit holes, porn, Netflix, constant phone checking. Make a list. Be honest. These are your detox targets. Step 2. Pick your detox day. Choose a full 24-hour period. Ideally, a weekend or a day where you can control your schedule. Block it off. This is your dopamine fast day. Step 3. Prepare your environment. Set yourself up for success. Delete or hide apps. Turn off notifications, log out of accounts, put your phone in another room, let people know you're offline for a day. Clean your space. Mental clutter thrives in physical clutter. You're designing your environment to reduce temptation. Step 4. Replace. Don't just remove. This is crucial. Don't just sit in a void. Fill the space with low dopamine, high-value activities. Journaling, reading, paper books, nature walks, drawing, cleaning, long conversations, planning prayer or meditation, working on something creative. Without tech, you're not running from stimulation. You're retraining your reward system. The 24-hour challenge, here's your mission. For one full day, remove all high dopamine digital stimulation. That means no social media, no YouTube, no Netflix, no video games, no processed junk food, no pornography, no multitasking, no mindless scrolling. You can. Use your phone for essential calls or emergencies. Listen to calming music or nature sounds, if it helps. Keep a journal nearby to capture thoughts or insights. The goal? Create space. At first, that space may feel empty, uncomfortable, even boring, but stay with it. Boredom is your brain beginning to reset. Discomfort is your attention muscles waking up. By the end of the day, you'll feel clearer, calmer, cleaner, mentally, and you'll start to notice something powerful. The urge to distract yourself fades. Your thoughts become deeper. Time slows down. You feel present again. That's not magic. That's neurobiology in recovery. Common withdrawal symptoms and how to handle them. You may feel symptoms during your first detox. Don't panic. They're normal. Here's what to expect and what to do. Restlessness or anxiety. Your brain is used to being fed every few seconds. Without that, it gets agitated. What to do? Go for a walk. Do deep breathing. Journal the feeling. Let it pass. Cravings or urges, you'll want to reach for your phone. Just for a second. What to do? Leave your phone out of reach.
Replace the urge with a physical task. Cleaning, stretching, making tea. Boredom, you'll think, I don't know what to do with myself. What to do? Let the boredom in. Sit with it. Boredom is the gateway to focus, reflection, and creativity.
Guilt or resistance, you might feel silly. Why am I doing this? What to do? Remember your why. You're detoxing to take back control of your life. Tips to succeed on your first detox. Keep a journal. Document your thoughts, struggles, wins. Time block your day. Fill it with low dopamine activities ahead of time. Go analog. Use notebooks, pens, physical books. Be kind to yourself. If you slip, reset. Don't give up. The real win by the end of the 24-hour challenge, you'll feel something strange, but empowering. A return to clarity. That mental fog. It begins to lift. The noise in your head. It starts to quiet. The itch to distract yourself. It weakens. You'll realize that the world didn't end without social media, that you're capable of more presence, more thought, more focus than you believed, and that's just the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll build on this detox by introducing daily practices to rewire your habits, reduce distraction long-term, and create a life built around deep, meaningful focus. You've done the reset. Now let's build the routine. Chapter 5. Breaking the loop. You did it. You've stepped away from the chaos. You've felt the silence. You've started to reclaim your mind. But here's the thing. A detox is only the beginning. If you stop now, your old habits will creep back, and like vines through cracks in pavement. To create lasting change, you need to go further. This chapter is all about one thing: breaking the loop and replacing it with something better. You'll learn how to replace bad dopamine habits with neutral or good ones, how to interrupt your triggers, how to build friction so distractions can't control you, and how to use simple tools like journaling and digital fasting to build a life designed. For focus, let's turn short-term clarity into long-term transformation. The loop we're stuck in. Let's revisit the loop. Cue, craving, response, reward. It works like this. You feel stressed, you crave relief. You grab your phone and scroll, you feel a dopamine hit, reward. Over time, this becomes automatic, unconscious, habitual. The only way to break the loop is to intervene at the cue or replace the response. You don't just remove habits, you replace them. Replace bad habits, better habits. Let's make this real. Here's a simple rule to remember. Every time I remove a high dopamine habit, I replace it with a neutral or beneficial one. Examples: instead of checking Instagram, journal 1 page. Instead of opening YouTube, walk for 10 minutes. Instead of eating junk, drink water or tea. Instead of scrolling in bed, read a book or listen to calming audio. Instead of multitasking, use a focus timer for one task. You're not punishing yourself. You're reprogramming your mind to seek real satisfaction, not cheap thrills. And over time, the new habits become your default. How to interrupt triggers, though?
Can't just rely on willpower.
You need to build systems. The secret to breaking the loop is to make bad habits harder and good habits easier. Here's how to build a friction-based system. 1. Make distraction inconvenient. Delete time-wasting apps. Log out of accounts. Use website blockers like Cold Turkey or Freedom. Turn off notifications. Put your phone in another room while working. Distraction thrives on ease. So increase the friction. 2. Make focus convenient. Keep a journal on your desk. Place a physical book where your phone usually goes. Create a calming workspace. Use a whiteboard or habit tracker to measure progress. Use noise-canceling headphones, or white noise if needed. Make deep work the path of least resistance. The role of self-awareness. If you want to stay out of the dopamine trap, you need one tool above all: self-awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. So when the urge hits, pause and ask, what am I avoiding right now? What do I really need? Is this distraction helping or hurting? What would the focused version of me do? Even a moment of awareness can interrupt a loop. 1 second of mindfulness can change everything, which brings us to one of the most powerful tools you can use. Tool number 1. Journaling for clarity. Journaling isn't just for writers. It's a mental mirror. It helps you catch patterns, track triggers, clarify goals, process emotions, replace reactivity with intention. Try this simple 3-question evening prompt. What distracted me today, and why? When did I feel most focused, and what helped? What will I do differently tomorrow? Even 5 minutes a day will change the way you think. Tool number 2. Screen timers and app limits. Your phone isn't evil, but without boundaries it becomes a digital leash. Set app limits. 30 minutes max for social apps. Schedule screen-free blocks. Use grayscale mode to reduce visual addiction. Move addictive apps off your home screen. Make using distractions feel like a choice, not a reflex. Tool number 3. Digital fasting. You've heard of intermittent fasting for the body. This is intermittent fasting for your brain. Here's how to try it. 1 hour of screen-free time in the morning. A full tech-free evening once a week. No phone 90 minutes before bed. 24-hour digital fast every Sunday. These micro-fasts recalibrate your dopamine baseline. They bring stillness, presence, and depth back into your life. Even a single hour of silence can feel like mental oxygen. Practical mini detox routines. You don't need to live like a monk.
You just need routines that support your brain. Here are a few easy, daily dopamine rebalancing practices. Morning ritual. Wake up without phone. Drink water, stretch, breathe, journal, or plan your top priority. Delay phone use for 30-60
minutes. This starts your day with intentionality, not reactivity. Focus, session routine. Choose one task. Set a timer, 25 or 50 minutes. Put phone in another room. Work deeply. Take a short break with movement or sunlight. Use the Pomodoro technique to build your focus muscles. Evening. Wind down. Power down screens. 60 minutes before bed. Dim the lights. Read, reflect, stretch. Or review your day in a journal. Sleep with your phone out of reach. This ends your day in peace, not panic. You're rewiring your brain every time you interrupt a distraction. Every time you reach for your journal instead of your phone, every time you sit with discomfort instead of numbing it, you're doing something profound. You're rewiring your brain. Neurons that fire together wire together. And when you repeat these new patterns, intention, focus, reflection, they become your new default. You're not just detoxing, you're evolving. The power of choice. Let's make this clear. You don't have to be perfect. You will slip. You will scroll. You will crave. But every moment is a new chance to choose. The scroll or the silence, the shortcut or the long-term win. The dopamine hit or the deep reward. Your attention is your most powerful asset. Guard it, train it, direct it toward what matters. In the next chapter, we'll take your focus to the next level by designing your deep work environment, a space that supports your clarity, creativity, and flow. You've broken the loop. Now let's build your launch pad. Chapter 6. Building a deep work habit. You've detoxed. You've disrupted the loops. You've started to reclaim your attention. Now it's time to build something, because detox alone isn't enough. If you don't replace distraction with intention, your mind will drift back into the same old habits. This chapter is about construction. You're going to learn how to create a deep work ritual, set up your environment for focus, use time blocking and the Pomodoro technique, remove internal and external distractions, train your focus like a muscle, and build morning and evening routines that prepare your mind for clarity. Let's turn deep work into a way of life. What is a deep work habit? A deep work habit is a structured, repeatable routine that gets your brain into a focused, flow-ready state without needing willpower every time. It's the difference between random bursts of productivity versus predictable, powerful periods of concentration. Think of it like going to the gym for your mind. You don't wait for motivation to work out. You build a fitness routine. Same here. You don't wait for focus. You train it. You trigger it. Step 1. Create your deep work ritual. Every focused session should begin the same way. This primes your mind and body. Your ritual could include clearing your workspace, putting your phone away, breathing deeply for 60 seconds, writing down one clear goal for the session, sipping a cup of coffee or tea, starting a playlist or white noise track. These steps may seem small, but over time, they act as psychological cues. Your brain learns, when I do this, it's time to focus. Consistency is the magic. Step 2. Train your focus. Like a muscle, focus is not a trait. It's a trainable skill. Here's how to build it like strength training. Start small. Don't try to focus for 3 hours right away. Start with 25 minutes. Use the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes deep work, 5-minute break. After 4 rounds, take a longer break, 15-30 minutes. This builds mental endurance without burning out. Increase. Over time once. 25 minutes feels easy. Bump it to 40 or 50. Then an hour. Your focus muscle gets stronger with reps, just like lifting weights. Track your sessions. Use a simple notebook, calendar, or app. Write down what task you did, how long you focused, how distracted you felt, 1 to 10 scale. Tracking creates accountability and shows progress. Step 3. Remove internal and external distractions. Distractions come from two places: the world around you. The world inside you. Let's deal with both. External distractions. Turn off notifications, use website blockers, silence your phone and put it in another room. Tell people not to disturb you during deep work blocks. Use noise-canceling headphones or white noise internal distractions. Keep a notebook nearby. If thoughts pop up, jot them down and return to work. Practice. Urge surfing. Feel the distraction rise and let it pass. Use a short mindfulness exercise before starting. Even 1 minute of breathing can calm the monkey mind. Step 4. Set up a deep work environment. Your space shapes your focus. Design it intentionally. Clear the clutter. Mess. Stress, cause distraction. Use dedicated zones. If possible, have one space just for focused work. Good lighting. Natural light helps energy and alertness. Comfortable chair and desk. Discomfort is a silent focus killer. Analog tools. Use paper, notebooks, physical books to reduce screen time. Make your environment a cue for deep work, not a trap for distractions. Step 5. Use time blocking to own. Your daytime blocking is the art of scheduling your focus. Instead of reacting to your day, you design it. Here's how. The night before, plan your next day in blocks. Block 1 to 2 hours for deep work in the morning. Batch meetings, emails, and errands separately. Block breaks and recharge time, too. Treat focus blocks like appointments with yourself the key. Protect the time like it matters. Because it does. Step 6. Morning routine for a deep work. Mindset, your first hour sets the tone for your entire day. Avoid phone use and dopamine traps first thing. Instead, try this routine. Morning ritual, 30-60 minds. Wake up and hydrate. Stretch or move your body, journal or plan your top priority. Read something inspirational or educational. Sit in silence or meditate for 5 to 10 minutes. Begin your first focus session. This sequence shifts your mind from reaction to intention. Start the day in control and stay there. Evening routine to reset and reflect focus doesn't end when work does. You need a clear shutdown. Evening ritual, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Power down screens. Review the day. What went well? What distracted you? Write down tomorrow's top priority. Do a low stimulation activity. Reading, stretching, walking. Journaling, sleep with your phone away from your bed. This tells your brain, we're done for the day. Let's rest, recharge, and come back strong. It also improves sleep quality, essential for mental clarity. Example, deep work day schedule. Here's how a full day could look for someone who wants to build deep work into their life. A.M. Wake, stretch, hydrate, journal, 8. A.M. First deep work session, Pomodoro X2, 9. A.M. Breakfast, plus short walk, 10. A.M. Second deep work session, 12 Takten. P.M. Lunch, plus light activity, 1 Takten. P.M. Admin tasks, shallow work, 3 hours P.M. Final deep work session or creative block, 5 hours P.M. Workout, hobby, family time, 8 hours P.M. Screen-free evening, 9 hours P.M. Journal, reflect, plan next day, 10 hours P.M. Sleep, it's not about perfection, it's about structure. Even one focused block a day changes your life. Remember, this is rewiring. Every time you show up for deep work, every time you start your ritual, every time you fight through distraction, you're not just working, you're rewiring your brain, you're reinforcing patience, discipline, clarity. Flow, you're training yourself to love creation over consumption, focus over frenzy, fulfillment over flashes of pleasure. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Deep work isn't about hustle, it's about depth. When you focus deeply, you don't need 12 hours to accomplish great things. You need 2 focused hours. Done right, you'll get more done, learn faster, create better, and feel more alive doing it. In the next chapter, we'll explore what happens after you've built the habit, how to protect your progress, avoid relapse, and stay in control for the long haul. You've built the engine. Now let's learn how to keep it running. Chapter 7. The Role of Boredom. Let's begin with a question. When was the last time you were truly bored? Not just waiting in line or staring at the wall with your phone in hand, but really, fully bored. No screens, no background noise, just you and your thoughts. If that question makes you uncomfortable, you're not alone. In today's world, boredom has become the enemy. We've lost the ability to sit with stillness, to be unoccupied, to be alone, without distraction. But here's the truth. Boredom isn't your enemy. It's your reset button. In this chapter, we'll explore why boredom is essential for resetting your brain, how our modern world has stolen our tolerance for boredom, how boredom fuels creativity, clarity, and discipline, simple ways to create white space in your day, and how to embrace silence and solitude as tools of power. Let's rediscover boredom and unlock what it's trying to give us. Why boredom is essential for a brain. Reset boredom is a signal. It's your brain's way of saying, I've processed the current stimulation. I'm ready for something deeper. When you're bored, your mind does something magical. It switches into default mode network, a brain state where memories consolidate, insights surface. Problems get solved subconsciously. Creativity kicks in. Long-term goals and values come to light. This mental state is only accessible when you're not actively stimulated. In other words, when you're not scrolling, swiping, tapping, or reacting. Without boredom, your brain never gets a chance to breathe. How we lost the ability to be bored. Once upon a time, boredom was normal. We waited at bus stops. We sat on park benches. We stared out of windows on long drives. Now, every second of stillness gets plugged with stimulation. Waiting for coffee? Scroll. In the elevator? Check messages. At a red light? Open Instagram. On the toilet? Watch TikTok. We've trained our brains to expect constant input, and as a result, we've weakened our ability to tolerate stillness. The dopamine cycle has robbed us of a gift, the ability to sit with ourselves. And if we can't sit with boredom, we can't access the creativity, discipline, and deep thought that come from it. Using boredom to spark creativity and discipline, here's the surprising part. Your best ideas come when you're not trying to have them. Boredom makes space. Think of boredom like leaving a field fallow, letting it rest between harvests. Only then can new things grow. This is why writers get ideas in the shower, inventors make breakthroughs during walks, artists find visions in moments of silence. Boredom creates mental white space. It gives your subconscious room to play, roam, and rewire. And it trains something deeper too, discipline. Because when you choose to sit with boredom, without reaching for a dopamine hit, you're practicing mental toughness. You're telling your brain, we don't need instant pleasure. We're okay with this moment. And that's where real growth begins. Creating white space in your day. Let's get practical. To reclaim boredom, you need to make space for it. Intentionally. Here's how. 1. The no input walk once a day. Go for a walk with no phone, music, or podcast. Just you and your thoughts. Let your mind wander. This is boredom training, and it often leads to insight. The empty hour block. 1 hour in your week with no plan, no tasks, no agenda. Just be, sit, breathe, stare out the window. Let your brain reset. Trust it. The white space journal before bed or after lunch. Take 5 minutes to journal your random thoughts. No structure, no goals, just empty the mental clutter. This clears the slate and gives you surprising reflections. The no stimulation Morning wake up and do nothing for the first 15 minutes. No phone, no talking, no tasks. Just be. Let your thoughts settle like water in a jar. Even tiny doses of white space have massive benefits. Embracing silence and solitude. We fear silence because we're not used to it, but silence is not empty. It's full of answers. Solitude is not loneliness. It's freedom from noise. When you let yourself sit in silence, you reconnect with your true thoughts. You hear the inner voice beneath the static. You process emotions that distraction was numbing. You remember what matters. Solitude builds self-awareness. And self-awareness is the foundation of all focus. Make time, even just 5 minutes a day, to sit in silence. No agenda, no input, just presence. This is where your real mind lives. Boredom is meditation. You don't need to sit cross-legged to meditate. Simply noticing boredom without reacting to it is a form of mindfulness. Try this. Sit still. Feel the urge to check your phone, scroll, do something, don't act on it. Just watch the feeling rise and fall. This is called urge surfing. You're learning not to be ruled by craving. With practice, this makes you powerful. You become the observer, not the reactor. You build space between stimulus and response. And that space? That's where freedom lives. Let the mind wander. There's a time for focus, and there's a time for wandering. Letting your mind wander is not laziness. It's part of the creative cycle. When you allow boredom, you open the door to unexpected ideas, hidden memories, emotional processing, big picture thinking. Some of your most brilliant solutions won't come at your desk. They'll come while washing dishes, while walking through trees, while staring at the ceiling. Let boredom be your silent brainstorming partner. Reset your brain, reclaim your life. Boredom is not a bug, it's a feature. It's your brain's way of saying, let's step out of the noise. Let's find clarity again. By welcoming boredom, even in small, quiet moments, you begin to reset your dopamine sensitivity, rebuild your attention. Discover buried ideas and emotions, regain access to your inner life. You remember how to be with yourself, and that's one of the most powerful skills you can ever build. Practice challenge, the boredom sprint. Here's your simple challenge this week. Do one thing every day that's intentionally boring. Examples: drive in silence, eat without watching or listening to anything, sit on a bench and do nothing for 10 minutes, stare at the ceiling for 5 full minutes. It will feel weird at first, uncomfortable even. But that discomfort is growth. That stillness is space. And in that space, you find depth, creativity, and control. In the next chapter, we'll learn how to protect the progress you've made. Because once you've reclaimed your attention, distractions will come knocking again. But this time, you'll be ready. Chapter 8. Reclaiming your attention. Let's start with a truth that may sound radical. Your attention is your most valuable asset, not your time, not your money, not your knowledge. Your attention. Because wherever your attention goes, your time, energy, money, and life follow. The question is, who's in control of it? In this chapter, we'll explore how to reclaim your attention with intention. You'll learn how to practice mindfulness and presence, why meditation helps regulate your dopamine system, daily habits to rebuild clarity, how to notice and reshape your consumption patterns, the truth about the attention economy, and how to opt out, and how to become a deliberate consumer in a world built for passive scrolling. Let's begin your journey from reaction to intention. Practicing mindfulness and presence, we live in 2 places, the present moment or the distraction pulling us away from it. Mindfulness is the simple, daily act of noticing where your attention is and gently guiding it back. It's not about perfection. It's not about having a clear mind. It's about being present with what's happening now. That might sound abstract. So here's a real-world translation. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you talk to someone, be there. Fully. When your mind drifts during work, gently bring it back. Each time you redirect your attention, you're building mental strength, like a bicep curl for your brain. Mindfulness is not a one-time trick. It's a lifestyle. And it's the ultimate rebellion in a world that profits off distraction. Meditation for dopamine regulation. Let's talk about meditation, not as a spiritual thing, but as a neural upgrade. Research shows that meditation lowers baseline dopamine cravings, increases gray matter in areas tied to focus and self-awareness, trains your brain to resist impulses, improves mood and emotional control, and rewires the reward system to appreciate calm over chaos. Meditation doesn't mean you need to sit cross-legged for hours. Start here. 5 minutes a day. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath. When thoughts come, don't fight them. Just notice and come back to breath. That's it. One breath at a time. One return at a time. One rep at a time. It's not about how well you focus. It's about training the skill of returning. This builds resistance to distraction from the inside out. Daily practices to regain mental clarity. You don't need a perfect system. You just need consistent habits. Here are simple, powerful daily practices that sharpen attention. Morning clarity ritual. Start the day without input for the first 30 minutes. No phone, no news, journal, meditate, walk, or sit with tea. Let your mind wake up intentionally. Single tasking challenge once a day. Do something with full presence. Eat a meal with no screen. Write with no music. Talk to a friend without multitasking. Your brain starts to crave the richness of full engagement. Not now. List every time you feel an urge to check your phone or switch tasks. Write it down. This builds awareness of your impulses and keeps you on track. Nature breaks. Step outside. No headphones, no scrolling. Just walk, breathe, and look around. Nature resets your nervous system and improves attention span. Digital sunset 1 hour before bed, turn off screens. Let your mind cool down naturally. You'll sleep better and think clearer tomorrow. Cultivating awareness of consumption habits. We are what we consume, not just in food, but in information. You wouldn't eat junk food 20 times a day, but most people feed their mind junk content all day long without even realizing it. Here's how to build awareness. Ask yourself before you consume anything. Why am I watching this? What am I hoping it gives me? Will I feel better or worse afterward? Am I escaping something uncomfortable? This is not about judgment.
It's about choice. You start noticing. When you watch out of boredom, when you scroll to avoid discomfort, when you binge to silence your own thoughts, and with that awareness comes power. The attention economy. How to opt out. Let's be
honest. The digital world doesn't want you to focus. Why? Because your attention is monetized. Every platform is designed to keep your eyes locked in. Infinite scroll, autoplay notifications, personalized algorithms, emotional hooks. You are the product, but you can opt out. Not entirely, but enough to reclaim your life. Here's how. Turn off notifications. If it's not a human, it doesn't need your attention right now. Audit your feeds, unfollow people or pages that provoke negativity, comparison, or mindless content. Delete one app, just one. The one that wastes the most time or makes you feel worst. Choose instead of drift. Don't open your phone without a reason. Before you tap, ask, what am I looking for? If you don't know, maybe don't open it. Schedule dopamine time. Give yourself intentional screen breaks. 15 minutes to scroll guilt-free. Ironically, structure creates freedom. You'll enjoy it more and control it better. Becoming a deliberate consumer. Being deliberate means living by design, not default. It means choosing what you consume when you consume it. Why you consume. Instead of letting algorithms think for you, you become your own curator. Imagine your attention like a garden. Everything you let in, every video, tweet, email is a seed. What kind of garden do you want to grow? Ask. Does this inspire me? Does this educate me? Does this help me become who I want to be? If not, you don't need it. When you become a deliberate consumer, your entire inner world changes. You'll think more clearly, create more deeply, feel more peace, and experience the quiet satisfaction of a life you're actually present for. Practice. Challenge. The attention audit. This week, take 15 minutes to do an attention audit. Step 1. Track for 1 day. Write down, every time you reach for your phone, every app or website you open, how long you spend on it, how you feel afterward. Step 2. Review at the end of the day. Look at the patterns. What stands out? Are there apps that drain you? Are you reacting to boredom or discomfort? Are you giving more time to noise than to your own mind? Step 3. Create a few new rules for yourself. No phone until breakfast. Delete Instagram. For 7 days. 20 minutes of screen-free time after lunch. 1 offline hour with family every evening. Start small. Stay consistent. Watch your clarity return. Final reflection. Reclaiming your attention is the real dopamine detox. It's the shift from living on autopilot to living with awareness, from reacting to choosing, from drifting to designing. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be present. And every time you choose presence over passive consumption, every time you pause instead of react, you strengthen the muscle of attention. And with attention under your control, there's nothing you can't build. Chapter 9. Rewiring for Purposeful Living. Let's talk about the next level. You've detoxed the noise. You've reclaimed your attention. Now what? Now, you build. Not just habits, not just productivity hacks. You build a life of meaning. This chapter is about rewiring your mind for purposeful living. A life where every day, every decision, every bit of effort connects to something bigger than instant pleasure. We'll explore how to set long-term, meaningful goals, how to align daily actions with personal values, why joy comes from the effort, not the reward, how delayed gratification becomes your secret advantage, what it takes to make deep work your default state, and how to create your personal life blueprint. Let's reprogram your brain, not just for focus, but for fulfillment. Setting long-term, meaningful goals. Most people live week to week, inbox to inbox, notification to notification. But you're stepping into something deeper. To live with purpose, you must have direction, not just goals like make more money or be productive, but goals that answer a deeper question. What kind of person do I want to become? Ask yourself, what do I want to master in the next 5 years? What legacy do I want to build? What values do I want to live by, no matter what? What would I still pursue even if no one was watching? Purposeful goals are long-term, identity-driven, and emotionally connected. They don't just live on a to-do list. They live in your heart. Write them down. Revisit them weekly. Speak them out loud. These goals become your anchor in a world of distraction, aligning actions with values. Now, let's bridge the gap between your goals and your daily life, because most people's days don't reflect their deepest values. They say they care about health, but never exercise. They value creativity, but scroll instead of writing. They want deep relationships, but spend more time texting than talking. The goal is alignment. Ask yourself each morning, what would it look like today to live in alignment with my values? Maybe turning off your phone during dinner shows respect for family. Reading a book builds your identity as a learner. Doing one hard thing in the morning strengthens your discipline muscle. Small actions aligned with big values compound into purposeful momentum. When your behavior matches your beliefs, you feel powerful, not pulled. Finding joy in effort, not reward. We live in a reward-obsessed culture. Likes, views, shares, paychecks, promotions, praise trophies, followers, numbers. But the happiest, most fulfilled people have one thing in common. They find joy in the process, not just the payoff. They love the practice, not just the prize. They don't write for applause. They write because they love the craft. They don't work out to get abs. They do it to feel strong and alive. They don't meditate to achieve calm. They meditate because being present is the reward. This mindset is powerful because it makes you undistractable. When you love the effort, distractions lose their power. When you find meaning in the work, dopamine doesn't dictate your day. Train yourself to love the process, and the results will take care of themselves. Delayed gratification as a superpower. Here's one of the most important lessons in this book. The ability to delay gratification is the master skill of success. It's the skill behind finishing a book instead of watching TV, saving money instead of spending it on impulse, building a business instead of chasing quick dopamine. When you train your brain to wait, to sit with discomfort, to work without reward, to say later instead of now, you unlock freedom. Because in that space between stimulus and response, you take back control. Here's the truth. Delayed gratification builds self-respect. It sharpens your discipline. It helps you build things that last. You stop chasing short-term highs and start building long-term peace. This is what makes you dangerous in the best way. Unshaken by distraction, grounded in purpose. Making deep work. Your default mode by now. You've learned what deep work is and how to practice it. But here's the next challenge. Make it your default. Not something you do once a week. Not just when you feel inspired, but a daily, non-negotiable rhythm. Here's how. 1. Protect your deep work. Time block 1 to 2 hours daily for deep work. Guard it like gold. No notifications, no emails, just one hard, meaningful task. Respect. The ritual: same time, same space, same tools. Train your brain to recognize this is the work zone. End with intention. When your session ends, log your progress. Reflect on what went well. This builds positive reinforcement. Celebrate the process. Whether you wrote 1,000 words or solved a tough problem, acknowledge the effort. That dopamine loop, use it to reward focus, not distraction. With repetition, your mind starts craving this state. It feels good to focus. It feels right to work with intention. It feels peaceful to go deep. You've rewired your reward system. Creating your life. Blueprint. All of this leads to a final question. What kind of life do you want to build? Let's make it real. Take a moment to create your life blueprint. Not a rigid 10-year plan, but a flexible, powerful framework that reminds you who you are, what you value, where you're going, and what matters most day to day. Here's a simple structure. Your life blueprint identity. Who are you becoming? I'm a focused, disciplined, and creative person. Core values. What do you stand for? Honesty, growth, simplicity, presence. North Star goals, 3 to 5 years. Publish a book. Build a business aligned with my values. Be mentally and physically strong. Daily habits that align. Morning journaling. 1 deep work session. 30 minutes of reading. Daily movement and stillness. This is your compass. When distractions come, and they will, you check your blueprint. When motivation fades, your identity pulls you forward. When life gets noisy, your values keep you grounded. This is purposeful living, not chasing dopamine, but designing a life that feels good from the inside out. Practice challenge. Build your life blueprint tonight or this weekend. Carve out 30 minutes for this simple yet life-shifting practice. Write it down. Don't rush it. Reflect and revisit it weekly. The clarity you build here will guide every future decision, quietly, confidently, powerfully. Final reflection, you've come a long way. From compulsive scrolling to intentional living. From dopamine addiction to deep work discipline. From reaction to creation. Now, you're not just detoxing, you're rewiring. You're choosing goals that matter, building habits that last, finding joy in the climb, not just the peak, and every day you choose effort over ease, depth over dopamine, meaning over impulse. You become the person you were meant to be. Chapter 10. The Lifelong Detox. Let's get one thing clear right away. Dopamine detox is not a one-time fix, it's a lifestyle. You don't do it once and expect lifelong clarity. You become it. You integrate the mindset of deep work, intentionality, and focus into everything. From how you wake up to how you spend your free time, to how you respond to discomfort. This chapter is your new manual for maintenance, for staying sharp, grounded, and clear in a world that constantly tries to hijack your mind. We'll talk about making dopamine detox a long-term philosophy, rituals and check-ins to stay on course, how to handle setbacks and relapses, spreading this mindset to others, how to turn pain into purpose, and how to fully embody the identity of a high-value, focused, purposeful human being. Let's finish. Strong. Detox as a lifestyle. Not a one-time fix. You've probably seen the viral dopamine detox challenges. No phone, no junk food, no Netflix for 24 hours. And while those are useful, they are just the beginning. Because real transformation doesn't happen in one day. It happens in daily decisions, quiet choices. Subtle shifts. It happens when you choose to journal instead of scroll. You take a walk without headphones. You sit with boredom and let ideas emerge. You shut the door, block distractions, and do the work. The detox isn't an event. It's a lens, a way of looking at the world differently. You start asking, is this feeding my purpose or just my impulses? Is this making me more clear or more numb? You're not just detoxing anymore. You're designing your attention, and that's the difference between temporary change and a transformed life. Maintenance rituals and check-ins. How do you maintain this state? You create rituals and checkpoints, small but powerful practices that keep you aligned. Here are 5 key rituals to embed into your lifestyle. Weekly. Digital fast choose one day, or even half a day, where you go offline. No social media, no mindless browsing. Just reading, reflecting, nature, presence. Monthly life audit ask. What's distracting me lately? What habits are slipping? What's been giving me energy? What do I need to cut? Be honest. Adjust accordingly. Morning clarity ritual each. Morning. Write down. One thing you're grateful for. Your main goal for the day. One distraction you'll consciously avoid. This sets the tone for a focused day. Evening reflection. Before bed, ask, did I live aligned with my values today? Where did I lose focus and why? What can I do better tomorrow? It keeps your awareness sharp. Quarterly deep work. Reset every 3 months. Block out a weekend to unplug, reflect, and reset. Revisit your life blueprint. Refocus on your goals. And recommit to your highest self. Consistency in these rituals rewires your nervous system. You don't just act focused. You become focused, handling setbacks and relapses. Let's be real, you will slip. You'll have days where you binge YouTube, scroll mindlessly, skip deep work, eat for comfort. That's part of the journey. But here's the key. Don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. Don't let guilt become your identity. Don't let perfection become the enemy of progress. Instead, acknowledge the slip without shame. Ask what triggered it. Act on a tiny corrective behavior immediately. Anchor yourself back into your purpose example. You binge Netflix all night. Instead of spiraling, you wake up, go for a walk, journal honestly, and block 60 minutes for deep work. Done. Progress isn't linear, it's spiral-shaped. You revisit the same challenges, but from a higher level of awareness each time. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be resilient. Teaching this philosophy to others now that you've experienced this transformation. Don't keep it to yourself. Teach it, live it loudly, be the example. Here's how. Share your routines and insights with friends, or online encourage coworkers or family to try digital fasting. Gift someone a journal and start a reflection challenge. Host a 7-day focus challenge in your circle or group. Lead by example, not force. Let people feel the difference in your energy. Teaching others deepens your own transformation, and every person you impact adds more clarity to the collective. Be a lighthouse in a distracted world, turning pain into progress. Sometimes, the journey to focus begins with pain. Maybe it was burnout, a failed relationship, a lost job, a season of emptiness. Here's the secret. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the wake-up call. The discomfort that led you here, it was trying to tell you something, that you were living beneath your potential, that your soul was starving for depth, that you were meant for more than scrolling and numbing. Use that pain, not as a wound, but as a fuel source. Channel it into your work, into your growth, into your discipline, into your purpose. Let every low moment become part of your rise, becoming a focused, purposeful, high-value individual. So what does this all lead to? You becoming someone different, not just a productive person, but a high-value individual. Clear-headed, calm, intentional, purpose-driven, respected, self-respecting. Deep over shallow substance, over noise. A person who walks into a room and brings presence, who listens deeply, works silently, speaks intentionally, who values solitude and builds things that matter, who is unavailable to distractions that most people chase. You become someone who doesn't need dopamine spikes to feel alive. Finds joy in discipline, can sit with silence, chooses challenge over comfort. Builds a life, not for validation, but for contribution. This is rare, and because it's rare, it's valuable. You become the exception, and the world notices. Final words. This is just the beginning. This isn't the end of your detox journey. It's the beginning of your new identity. You've peeled away the noise, rewired your patterns, reclaimed your attention, and reconnected with your deeper purpose. From here on, you don't live on autopilot. You don't chase shallow pleasure. You don't wait to be rescued from distraction. You take ownership. You lead yourself. You build, create, focus, rise. And every single day you ask the question, what would the highest version of me do today? Then you go and do it. Not perfectly, but persistently, with purpose. This is your lifelong detox. This is your new way of life. Conclusion. The superpower of the future. Take a breath. Let's look back, not just at the chapters, but at who you've become. You started this journey overwhelmed, distracted, maybe even discouraged. Your attention was scattered. Your focus drained. Your time devoured by things that didn't matter. You were stuck in the loop, scrolling, checking, reacting, consuming. But now, you've reclaimed something precious. Not just your time, but your mind. Recap of the journey. You learned that dopamine, this tiny molecule, was hijacking your brain's reward system. You realized how tech, media, and even food were designed to keep you addicted, impulsive, and overstimulated. You discovered deep work, not just as a productivity tactic, but as a spiritual, mental, and creative practice. You took on the detox. You learned to break loops, build rituals, embrace boredom, and protect your attention like a sacred resource. You rewired your habits. You reconnected with purpose. You learned how to train your focus like a muscle, and how to design a life around meaning, not noise. This wasn't just a book. It was a transformation. Who you were versus who you are. Now let's be honest, most people never do this work. They stay reactive. They stay overstimulated. They never question the system. They chase shallow highs and wonder why life feels hollow. But not you. You saw through the illusion. You paused. You reflected. You acted. That takes courage. That takes vision. And now, you're no longer just a consumer of content. You're a creator of impact. You're no longer ruled by urges. You're guided by intention. You're no longer stuck in short-term gratification. You're moving with long-term purpose. That's not small. That's superhuman in a world that settles for distraction. What deep work unlocks, let's be clear. Deep work is the superpower of the future. Why? Because it leads to mastery. You become world-class at what matters: legacy. You create work that outlives the algorithm impact. You contribute in a way that's rare, needed, and respected: freedom. You stop being owned by impulse and start owning your time. Whether you want to write a book, build a brand, master a craft, or simply be more present in your life, deep work is the engine, and now that engine is yours. Final encouragement. This isn't a race. It's a rhythm. There will still be distractions. There will still be hard days. But now you have a compass, a code, a mindset. You know what matters. So when you feel lost, return to the breath. Return to the page. Return to silence. Return to your intention. You are not your cravings. You are not your urges. You are not your screen time average. You are not your impulses. You are your intentions. And your intention is clear: to go deep, to focus, to live wide awake, to leave behind noise, and build something real. Final call to action as we close. Here's your final challenge. Protect your attention like your future depends on it, because it does. Build your rituals. Do your deep work. Keep detoxing, keep designing, keep choosing depth over dopamine, silence over noise, discipline over distraction. Let your life be a message. Let your focus be your power. And never forget, the world doesn't need more distracted people. It needs more awake ones, more intentional ones, more people like you. This is the end of the book, but it's the beginning of your new chapter. Go build the life your future self will thank you for. Your mind is clear. Your time is yours. Your mission is waiting. Go deep, go boldly, and never go back.